You're going to specialize in fake rock. Your dad's going to finish all the trees. Done. So this guy then goes to make 85.
Oh my goodness, a lot of trees.
Well, it's 100 total. So it may have taken more than a decade to do them. So we can ask a question like, why would Mr. Huntington have 100 concrete trees? It's kind of a valid question. It gives us maybe a peek into what's going on here. You've got this very classical estate. What's going on here? What does rustic have to do with anything? Well, we have to put it in context with Mr. Huntington. If you've got almost 3 minutes, I can tell you the rest of it. Have I got you?
Yeah.
Mr. Huntington worked his whole life for his Uncle Collis. Are you taping this or Phil? Excellent. Like video?
Yes.
Excellent. So, Mr. Huntington worked his whole life for his Uncle Collis. And when Collis dies, he and Arabella, his second wife, but she was Henry's age, had 5 estates together. And Collis buys Camp Pine Knot, the first of the great camps built in the Adirondacks, 2 hours from where she would be in Manhattan by train. And he brings her there a few times, but that's where he dies. She wouldn't be there. She would be in Manhattan. Meanwhile, Mr. Huntington, Henry, is out on this end of the neck of the woods with all of his contacts from the Southern Pacific. He's looking at Southern California as his next base of operations. So when he's wooing Arabella over the course of 10 years, she's looked at the style of house that Mr. Huntington, Henry would have. She's picking art for him, picking plans for him. When he finally gets the house done, he's trying to get her here for, you gotta come see this for goodness sake. And she has no reason to come. She's got her own fortune. She's got a house, or had a house in Paris. She's leasing a different one now. She's got everything. All of her socializing, her connections is everywhere else, not here. This is the boonies. I'll speed it up. He builds a Japanese garden, and he uses rustic oak harvested off the property to give her shade, because she would discount anything if it didn't have shade. She's got to have shade. Mm-hmm. She doesn't see very well. She's still dressed in black. She just liked to, but she's got to have shade. So when she gets here, she sees these rustic arbors. She says, "Edward, what are you doing? Stop calling this place a restaurant. What is all this rustic? What are you thinking? Look, we've been trying to make more dignity than this here. This doesn't fit at all. You called me here for my advice. This is my advice. You've never seen Europe. You've never seen the kind of houses that we're trying to copy here, with the best art in them and the best gardens around them. If we're going to get married, it's not happening here. See ya." So he goes, he finds her there. While he's there, he's going to spend several years touring France with Arabella, finally getting married in 1913. And he leases the biggest house he can, bigger than anything she's ever had, 5 kilometers from Versailles, and it's almost as big, for 10 years. So they can go back anytime. And recording ideas of what they might do when they get back. He finally gets married. A park built in 1867 has a pathway that leads to the tallest viewpoint of Paris before the Eiffel Tower. It has a Greek temple at the top, sort of like this one, with the Temple of Love out there. Much bigger than that, but that same style. And there's a pathway, footbridges, handrails, stair treads, all of the stuff that leads to it is concrete that looks like rustic wood. Now maybe Arabella's been there many times. She doesn't walk very well. She takes the carriage there, a limousine there with him, waits for him at the bottom. Edward, you go, you got to see this. So he comes back, he sits down next to her, he says, "Belle, what do you think of this rustic?" And she would say, "Edward, stop talking about rustic. This is why you're here. Don't you understand this? This is different from your uncle's Camp Pine Knot. This is not put sticks together, Davy Crockett Americana. This is French sculpture. It tells a story of rustic. It's somebody's, that moment where it tricks you and you think it's something other than what you started thinking it was. Well, of course it's concrete. Well, of course it's wood. Well, it's neither. That makes it something else. It makes it what, Edward? Scenery? You're right. It makes it art." So he says, "Well, that charms you. You've charmed me, Belle. That's why I'm here. I'm so glad we finally got married and you finally got me to France." So he comes back, he has a guy make 100 concrete trees for him. Or guys.
Right? It's my kind of